Hey, everybody. Welcome to a new recording of the Happy Productive podcast. I'm super excited for my guest today because it just so happens I know her. She isn't somebody who came to us and said, "Hey, let me be on your podcast." She's somebody that we know and we have worked with. So, Shanyeri, welcome to the show today.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I'm so happy and excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited and happy for you to be here too. And if you don't already know, Shanyeri is a seasoned service-based entrepreneur with a very inspiring story of turning rejection into unwavering resilience, all thanks to her faith and her purpose. She's the co-founder and COO of a seven-figure e-commerce logistics company, you guys, that bridges commerce gaps and empowers over 66,000 Africans to access global markets. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty
Wow.
awesome what you do, my dear.
I'm listening to that intro and I'm like, is she talking about me? Or is it someone else?
No. I'm talking about you. And tell everybody who's listening who doesn't already know you just a little bit about your story and how did you come to be running such a successful logistics company?
So, my story started from relocating from Nigeria to the United States in 2005. I had just gotten engaged to the love of my life. I was moving to the US to get married to him. And I was really excited because I had watched Coming to America and a lot of American movies. So I was excited at the opportunities in the US to just fulfill my American dream and get everything running. But what I met when I came was completely different from what I saw in the movies and what I had experienced. So, coming to corporate America, it was a lot of rejection. So, I kept hearing things like, you have a foreign degree, you have foreign experience, you don't have an American degree. So, these were the things I was hearing. And I graduated with honors from the country I was coming from. I have a bachelor's in computer science. So I had a great degree. I had worked in two multinational companies before coming. I worked at KPMG in the country I was in. I also worked at Shell Petroleum, the oil company. So I was taken aback at what they were telling me about not having foreign experience and things like that. I'm like, my resume looks solid. What are you talking about? But I found that that was the narrative all through my journey of looking to kickstart my career here in the US. And that rejection went on for a couple of years. And I got to a point on the journey where I felt like, okay, I can either keep waiting for someone to tell me that I'm good enough, or I can take a bet on myself and go out there and start something. And that was what I did in 2012. I was pregnant. I was 8 months pregnant with my third child. And I was just feeling frustrated. I felt like my life was wasting away with all the degrees I had. And prior to that, when I heard all the rejection stories, you don't have this, you don't have that, I went to get an American degree. So I went to the University of Illinois. I got my master's. And I said, okay, just in case they say the master's is not enough, I'm going to add an icing to the cake and get my project management certification so that when I come out, I'm a PMP. I have my master's, I have my bachelor's, I have this. And I came out and I started hearing, oh, you have a gap in your resume, you have this, you have that. So the rejection was just unending for me. But in 2012, I decided to bet on myself. And I asked myself two questions. I said, and these were questions inspired by my co founder. And he asked me, he was like, what are you excited or passionate about doing? I said, I love to shop with other people's money. And I also like to help people. And he said, can you put it together to start a business? And I said, yes, I can become an international personal shopper. And that was where my journey of becoming an entrepreneur in the US started. with 8 months pregnant, it felt like I was carrying two babies. So my business and my daughter, and I gave birth to both of them in the same year. And it has been an amazing journey since then.
Oh my goodness, such a powerful story. And so tell us a little bit about we're going to do both things. Tell us about a great success that you had in the business and then tell us about a challenge that you had in the business that maybe you weren't expecting or that you had to overcome.
So I'll start with the challenge. Then I will work my way to the success because I have realized that challenges are opportunities to learn and to grow. So I started out as someone who used to run away from challenges and try to wish them away to becoming a woman who embraces challenges and trials and everything that could go wrong in the business and say, yeah, bring it on. I can. It's an opportunity to grow. So one major challenge was during COVID, the COVID year. COVID was good to my business because my business was considered an essential. So, like, it's a logistics business, and a lot of people couldn't go out, so they could only do online shopping. So, like FedEx, Amazon, the shipping companies were considered essential businesses. But prior to COVID, I didn't have my systems documented yet. So, with that growth came a lot of pressure on me and my lack of systems and my lack of structure. So, and along the line, I got COVID too. So I was out for my business for 2 weeks and I come back to the business and I have this piles and piles of shipments, customer shipments that needed to be processed. I was just recovering from COVID and I'm saying to myself, how do I overcome this? How do I move from this challenging situation? And in the moment of me just pondering, I got an idea to go to a hiring facility where you will not naturally hire people from. It was like a gig, like the gig website where you hire people for 1 day or 2 days. And the strategy for me was, okay, and for some reason, it was hard to get people to work during the COVID years because the government gave a lot of benefits. So people would rather just sit at home and not
Yeah.
want to work. So that was the challenge I was dealing with. So I said to myself, okay, I'm going to use this platform. I'm going to have them come work with me for a day. And if they like the job, I'll ask them, okay, did you like the job? What do you think about working extended hours? And that was how I was able to rise above that challenge by leveraging a platform that would not normally be the solution to the problem. And I was able to, in that moment, get people to work and were able to clear our backlog. I was able to use that period to also document my systems so that I trained other people afterwards and I was not in that situation anymore. So that was that was quite a challenge for me, but I was able to rise above it by just thinking outside the box, saying, okay, this challenge is here. I don't need to sit and complain about it because complaining doesn't change anything. I've realized in business, when you're done complaining, the problem is still looking at you. The challenge is still looking at you. So just being calm and thinking of a strategic way to rise above the challenge and ask yourself, what can I do to solve this problem? So that was how I was able to overcome the challenge. Then you spoke about success. One major success that really stands out for my business this year is when we started this journey, it was a lot of sacrifice from my side, from the side of my co-founders, everybody putting in everything. One major success for us this year was being able to raise seven-figure funding from an outside investor. That was really major for us. To think of a side hustle that I started as an international personal shopper in 2012 to an e-commerce logistics business that's able to raise outside funding from an investor, that is huge for me. That is so huge for me. And it was a major success and just a testament to uh, tenacity, resilience, and just following through, not giving up on the good days, on the bad days. I remember a particular day where I was so overwhelmed and I said, I think I'm just going to quit this business because it's just too much hard work. I was telling my co founder the other day, I said, I have worked every aspect of this business from being the warehouse rep to the customer rep to the marketing to the IT, every single area. And that was before my team came on board. So to be able to raise external funding to scale the business and do more, it was a huge success for us this year, definitely.
Oh, this is so amazing. I love listening to this because and the reason that I found out about how well you were doing was actually through one of our coaches, Julie, that you had worked
Yes.
with, right? And Julie had sent me an update and she's like, I just have to tell you how great she's doing. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so happy to hear this because I know that when we had worked together, it was a harder time and you were going through a
Yes.
lot of struggles in the business. And so I'd love for you to just speak to that and like, how did coaching help you kind of get through some of those harder times in the business?
I remember when I came to you to coach me, that period was a very tough period for me. I had so many things going on the personal side, on the business side. It just felt impossible. And I remember our first conversation and you were amazing. You looked at me and you said, "I know you got this. I know you can do this. You just need some accountability and just being able to get that accountability as an existing business owner with you, your company. Julie is an amazing coach. I must put that out there. It was able to give me I would say the momentum I needed to keep going. Because as business owners, you get to a point where you run. It's like you run out of breath. You're running this marathon and you're feeling, oh, I'm losing breath. Coaching gave me momentum. It brought the breath back. It was like a moment where it says, Chichi, just breathe, just breathe. You can do it. And having the coaching piece for me, it kept me accountable. So even on the days where I felt like, okay, I don't want to keep going on, when I remembered my accountability call, I'm like, Julie's going to ask me, what did you do today? It helped me get off my couch and get going. So the accountability, I cannot emphasize it enough how important it is for an existing business owner, even a new business owner that's just starting. Coaching is very critical. You look at great athletes out there or people that are into sports, they all have coaches. Every professional has a coach. And having a coach doesn't mean you don't know what you're doing. It means that you value yourself enough to realize that you don't have everything it takes to reach that goal. And you need someone to come alongside you and help you and carry you. So coaching with you, Jennifer, was a game changer for me. It brought a lot of clarity to the season I was in, what I needed to focus on to take my business to where we could raise a seven-figure funding. So it was really really crucial to our success, and I will give you that definitely.
That is so fantastic because, I don't think as business owners we talk about it very much, but often I think that we can feel very isolated and very
Yes.
alone in this journey because we have so many people looking to us for all to have all of the answers.
Yeah.
If we don't have the right team around us, then we end up, doing their jobs for them. We end up babysitting. I'm sure you've probably, I know I've in my, not now, but in my past businesses, it's been like, they just don't care about the company the way I care about the
Yeah.
company. That's not true anymore. Now I have an
Yeah.
amazing Julie, who they care about this company. They care about our clients the way that I care about it too, which is so beautiful, empowering. But like so often, I feel like that we really are isolated as business owners, and we kind of feel like we're off in a silo by ourselves, trying to figure it all out. And then we're so in it every day, it's kind of hard to put your head up and like see the light. And so I think that's sometimes where like having a coach helps you to feel like you've got somebody in your corner, somebody on
Yeah.
your side, right? And it
Yeah.
gives outside perspective that you can't always see when you're slogging through, the day to day of whatever those challenges are in your business.
Absolutely, absolutely. I like what you said about isolation because as business owners, you keep thinking, I have to do it alone. I have to do it by myself. It's almost like we measure our strength by how much we do it by ourselves. And for me, I've realized is the opposite. Your strength as a business owner should be measured by the team you have built around you to carry the vision to the finish line. Because if you don't have a team around you, you're not even a business owner yet. You're just working a job that you own. So until you can get a team, and when a lot of people hear team, they think it's just people, direct employees or independent contractor. A coach is part of your team.
Mhm.
Having a coach is part of your team. And for me, having Julie, which is a member of your team, it was like I had someone in my corner. I had someone I could show up every week and she could tell me, yes, you can do it, keep going. So changing that perspective that when you use a coach, you're weak, you're actually strong because you realize that you need help and you go get the help you need. So that perspective is very crucial, and also empowering the team to do their job. Then you also mentioned about the coach bringing a different perspective.
Mhm.
That was a game changer for me. I don't know if you remember our first call where you told me, you're like, Chichi, you can't be sacrificing so much. You need to take care of yourself financially as a business owner. And that was a game changer for me because for most business owners, we think we have to sacrifice so much to the bone for our teams and neglect ourselves. But it has a negative effect when you don't prioritize your own needs, whether it's physical, personal, financial. And that was one of the things, that was one of the perspective you brought to me when we coached, and you said you got to pay yourself more. You're sacrificing so much. You have to take care of yourself more financially. You have to put away profit for later. So all that was a perspective that you brought to bear by me coaching with you. Yeah.
Oh, that's so powerful. And you're absolutely right. You got some good coach in there. Because what happens, right? What happens when we just sacrifice and sacrifice and sacrifice, and then what happens is we start to resent our businesses, and then
Yes.
we start to hate our businesses. And it's so funny that you're bringing this up because I'm in the middle right now of writing a new book that's going to come out in the spring, and it's about how to rekindle the love for your business, and this is
Wow.
part of it, right? And it's
Yeah.
helping business owners who have kind of fallen out of love with their business how to fall back in love. And part of how you do that is you have to stop doing things that really just expand the resentment that you have for your business. And of course, like if we had a friend that we just gave everything to and never gave us anything back, we would be like, you're out of here, friend. And
Yes.
yet we do this in our businesses where we don't take money, and then we don't, pay ourselves, and then we pay everybody else instead of us. And it's just like, those are the kinds of things that we have to turn around. And it won't necessarily always be like an overnight shift, but like in a moment, you can make a decision to do
Yeah.
something different. And then from that moment on, you do take, start to carve out time for yourself. You start to carve out money for yourself. And over time, all of those actions, they really add up until you're just like, wait a second, what happened? Like everything's running a whole lot better. But, having somebody there by your side to just say, hey, wake
Yeah.
up.
You were that person for me.
Trust me, I've had plenty of coaches myself who are like, Jennifer, wake up. Hello, you can do this differently. And I think there's something about hearing, like, wait a second, it's possible. Like, it's
Yeah.
really possible to do it a different way. Gives us permission to look at different ways to actually make it happen. And from there, you kind of get inspired, and you're just like, okay, wait, I can do this. I can do this. So I love hearing your story so much, because I know there's some people that are going to be listening to this, and they're just going to be like, wait a second, you mean I don't have to be miserable in my business? You mean
No,
I
you don't.
don't have to sacrifice myself? And you said something so important about your team. I'm learning this too as my business has gotten bigger and bigger, that the team is mission critical. Like, you're going to be a one woman or one man show like forever, if you don't get the team right. And if you don't get the team right, like, your headaches will be bigger. If you get the team right, that's how you get your freedom back, your money back, your time back. Like, that's how you scale your business and enjoy the ride, is when you get that team right. And so I'm curious, like, for you, what did that look like, of getting the right team of people around you?
Around me. So for me, that's my number one productivity tip, which is to use my time wisely. And as part of using my time wisely, I have what I call the ABC of time management. The A is accept your time. So stop wishing you had more time. Just accept that this is where I am. I have just 10 hours. Then the B is for budget your time, which is to budget things that are fundamental to your needs, like the daily drive that you do in your business. And the C part of it is where I want to focus, and it will answer the question you just asked me, which is to create more time. And the way you create more time is by hiring and training and delegating and building a team that can carry the vision. Because when you do that, like you said, you free yourself up. You're able to do other things. You're able to pursue other dreams, because this might not be the only business you want to start. You might have other businesses you want to start. You might have other passions you want to pursue. But if you don't take time to build a team and create that team by using your time wisely, you will not get to the next level. The game changer for me happened during the COVID year, where I told you I had that challenge. That was the game changer. I told myself, I made that decision when I was still going through the COVID sickness. I said, as I'm going back to my business, I'm going to fire myself from the warehouse. That was what I said. I said, I'm firing myself from the warehouse. I'm no longer going to touch any shipment or process any package here. Instead, I am going to create a team that is going to do it, train them, empower them, give them everything they need. And this was in 2020. We are in 2023. By making that decision and going to work to put the systems to hire the people, come 2023, Jennifer, I took a 1 year sabbatical. Let me say it
No.
again. I took a 1 year sabbatical from my logistics business this year. And this was the year we got the 7-figure funding. Because of the team I had built, I was able to take that break. I was even able to start a new business, which is the coaching and other things I'm doing now. But the team is mission critical. And some of the things I do when I'm building a team, I realize it's not a one and done process. So it's a trial and error. You've never met these people before, but it starts with it starts with you being clear about your vision. What are you trying to accomplish? Because when you're not clear, you're bringing people into confusion. You're bringing them into a vision that is not clear. So that's the first step. clarify what is this business offering to the world and what do I need this team member to come do. I remember a time where I hired a personal assistant, and Jennifer, I wasn't clear on what I wanted. I was more frustrated with that team member than when I was walking alone. And that's always the temptation. When you hit that frustration, the temptation is to go back to be a one man show or one woman show. But I went back to the drawing board. I said, okay, you were not clear about your vision. You were not clear about what you needed this person to do. So I went back and got clear. And now I have a team. My logistics business has a team of over 50 people across about 5 different countries, and I'm able to manage all these pieces by just knowing that, okay, the vision has to be clear, hiring people that are passionate about the vision and they care. And the only way, or one of the ways I've found that you can make your team members care about your business, is for you to care for them. So
Mm.
I prioritize my team. I care for them like they are like my family. And I make sure that in terms of compensation, in terms of appreciating their work, in terms of giving them kudos for what they do, I do that. Another way you can appreciate them is by letting go of responsibilities and transferring it over to them. That's a huge way to tell your team that, hey, I trust you. And when they make mistakes, you don't punish them for the mistakes. You say, okay, what can we learn from these mistakes we've made? That's a way you pour back into your team. These are some of the things I did to build my team. Have I had team members that didn't meet up? Absolutely. Have I had team members I had to let go? Absolutely. It's a trial and error, but I find that a combination of these things has helped me as a business owner to build a solid team. My team knows that I deeply care for them, not just based on the work they do. I go into what are your dreams? What are your goals? What do you want to accomplish? What is personal to you that you want to do? I learn about their families. I learn about their kids. I go as far as making their business my own business because they are making my business their business. So I am investing in them as much as they're investing in me. So I don't say, oh, I'm paying them a salary, so they should do their job. No, I take it beyond what they're doing for me and I pour into them. And I find that as I've been doing that, my team members are ready to go to war for me. They're ready to go to war for my business. They're ready to bring so much passion to take care of my customers and other team members. And it's just a ripple effect I've seen over the years by really investing into a team. And of course, a lot of growth has happened from me hiring a team. I can't even tell you how much, but yeah.
Oh, this is so good. You said so many good things in there. And I know the listeners are getting so much from this conversation. We have seen, and I have seen in my own business as well, that the more I've invested in building, developing, caring for my team, the better we are as an organization to go out there and serve our business owners. Because I was a one woman show, even in my own company for the first several years, because I'd had teams before. I didn't really enjoy it. I just, all the drama, all the people, it was just
Yeah.
like I did not want to be a babysitter. And so, in the first several years of my coaching practice, I was a one woman show and I was proud of it. But it was really after maybe a little bit right before COVID that I really was just like, you know what? I actually do need to do more here and take more here. And we started a digital marketing agency and we ended up going through a lot of different people while we were getting that off the ground. But what happened was I actually started doing Spartan races with my sister, and she was one of our coaches for a little while too. And we started doing Spartans, and Spartans are obstacle course racing. And so you're out, on the side of a mountain for 5 or 10 miles and you're going over all these crazy obstacles. It's a little bit nuts, but it's really fun. And I found that when I was out on this journey kind of doing Spartans, that my mindset started to shift because I was out doing these really physically challenging things, and then I would come back to the business and I would have to tackle things in the business, and I was like, oh, okay, whatever, I can handle this. I'm not walking through a swamp. It's okay. I can handle this thing in my business. And then we started bringing our team members and doing the Spartan races, and we started doing them together. And looking back now, I realized that setting that time aside to be out of the business and doing a Spartan race with our coaches all together, and we were taking clients and stuff as well, but when we started to do it together, we started to really gel as a team.
Yeah.
When we're out there helping each other, we're pushing through this really hard thing, we're helping our clients do it too. And so we started creating retreats around these Spartan races, and this year we're going to be doing three team building events all around Spartan races. But like this building your team is so very important. It just sort of happened organically for us, and now that I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, we did these things. And now that I know about them, we are intentionally continuing to do these things. I just took my whole team to Costa Rica for our last business retreat.
Wow.
And yeah, we took a bunch of clients and our whole team. And we just, as a team, it was such an amazing experience for us. As a company, it was such an amazing experience to help our clients. And we're going to be doing more and more of that too in the new year. But this year, we actually switched our coaching so that our business owners can send their team members to get coaching too, because we found that we were coaching the business owner, but then they're having all these people problems, and then they don't always have the skill set to like deal with them. So we've actually opened up our group coaching call and some of our private too, to be like, hey, whatever problem you're having with your team, send them over to us and we're going to help you develop them. Because when we can develop the business owner and their team together,
Yeah.
everything that you're saying, that's exactly right. Like, you need that team in place to show up, care about what they're doing, do their jobs. You care about them, they care about you. And that, absolutely, I'm with you 100%, is the difference maker in a business, of a business succeeding versus one that's going to fail.
Yeah, absolutely. While you were speaking, it reminded what you said about the Spartan races you have with your team. It reminded me of an African proverb that we normally say, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So as you were speaking, that was what was coming to my mind. I'm like, when you go together with a team, you go farther, you
Yeah.
make more growth in revenue because now you have many more people that can handle many other things. So it's it's really critical. It's a game changer for any business. You can start out as a one man show or one woman show, but don't stay there. Don't be afraid to hire a team. And you can start with one person. Don't be afraid to bring them on, because the more you make room for them, the more growth you will see, as you can tell, Jennifer. So, yeah,
It's so funny that you say that, because I've seen that proverb. They actually have it on, like, not every Spartan race you do, but often at the entrance of a Spartan race. I've seen that proverb like
yeah,
on a billboard before. And it's so cool that you mention it, because when you're out there on these courses and you're doing these hard races and you're doing it together, it's just such a beautiful bonding experience, and it will just be like the glue that like brings your whole team together. Or I have also had out on a Spartan course where it was also the thing that the people who don't fit with your team, it
mhm,
spins them off, because you could
yeah,
see like how they handled a Spartan and it wasn't very good, and within a week or two it's like, oh, they don't work for the company anymore. Versus people who struggled and everybody came together, and those people are like still with the company and have become more instrumental in the company. So it can work both ways, you guys. If you're like,
yeah,
oh, I'm going to go do a Spartan race and fix all of your problem in my team, well, you might fix a lot of stuff, but you also might spin the wrong people off. But actually, in my world, that's not a bad thing, because you want those right people around you. It makes such
yeah.
a difference. Yeah. Awesome. All right, Miss 1 year sabbatical. That is so cool. Like, that is so cool. Julie had said you were doing amazing, and she was absolutely right. I'm just so happy for you. Really, so happy for you. So, what's next? What's next for you?
So during my sabbatical, it gave me the opportunity to start a coaching business where I am going back to help Christian women like me 11 years ago in 2012 when I was trying to figure things out. I'm going back to such women and saying, hey, you don't have to go it alone. I've been down that road. I can help you. I can help you start a sustainable and profitable business because now I have lived it. So I'm not helping you start something that will you will crumble under the weight of, but something that includes your personal life, your relationship, something that factors all those fundamental needs together, and you build something that is making impact and profit for you. So that's what I'm doing now. I started a Christian coaching business. I particularly focus on Christian women just because I'm a person of faith and I'm called to them. I can help other women too, but that's what I'm doing now. So, helping Christian women start a sustainable and profitable service based business is what I'm doing. And I also started a podcast. It's going to be a year in a couple of December 31st will be a year of me podcasting, and I'm able to teach and train and just pour out myself there to help uh, other women because I feel every woman deserves the help she needs to be able to start and grow a business that is sustainable and profitable. I like the guys, but this one is for the ladies.
Oh, that's so funny. I love it. I love it. I love my men that I coach too. It's so funny. I started with all women and then I kind of branched out from there. But I do feel like with coaching, you just have to serve who you're called to serve. And so I
Yes.
love that you're doing it. Okay, so tell everybody the name of your podcast because I'm sure after listening to you today, they're going to want to check into it. And then if you have a website, please share that as well so people know where to find you.
Awesome. Thank you. So the name of my podcast is Start That Business. Yes,
Oh.
that one you've been putting up for a long time. You need to start. So that's the name of the podcast. Start That Business is the name of the podcast. You can listen to it on Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, anywhere podcast is streamed. You can listen to it and you can come hang out with me on my website. It's startthatbusinesspodcast.com. So you can come check us out on there and also listen to the podcast. Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you so
so
much, Jennifer.
great. Yes, yes, yes. We will put all of her information in the show notes, you guys. So if you're like, hey, what was that link? Don't worry, we're going to put it in our show notes. And I have to call attention to the beautifulness of this because when we first met and you were struggling in your business, and I'm so happy that you invested in yourself and chose to get some help and chose to get some coaching. And now you look at how much your business has grown and all of the people that you now employ. And I'm sure they love working with your company. And now you're going to start coaching, which means you're going to start helping others. Like, imagine you guys just for a second if you'd given up and you didn't go any further, or you stayed a victim to the circumstance, or whatever, like you wouldn't be in a position right now to help so many others and empower so many others. And so right now, if you're listening to this show, I know there's no way you couldn't be feeling inspired, but I just really want to inspire everybody, like no matter what you're going through, you don't have to suffer alone. Just get some help to get to that next level. Go find a coach or a mentor or whatever you need to get some help so that you don't feel so alone. Because just look at the impact. That's one of the things in my book. I'm writing this new book about how to rekindle the love for your business. And one of the chapters is impact. And look at the impact you've had because you got the help that you needed for you. You set boundaries, you started taking care of yourself, you started changing. And now look at how many other people have been impacted by your decision. It's it's just very inspiring to me and such a beautiful, beautiful story.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jennifer. One last thing I would say is for me, just looking at my journey, one of the lessons that really brings everything together for me, uh, I read James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits. I was
Yep.
reading one of his newsletters, and in there he said, rejection is redirection. And that resonated with me a lot because that is the summary of my story. Rejection, if I'm to rephrase it, I would say rejection is redirection that leads to impact and profit. That's a summary of my whole story. Like you were saying, if you sit there and you don't go get help and you keep trying to do it by yourself, you will not get to the place of impact and profit. So the impact, I sit and I look at the impact. I couldn't have done this if I didn't start, if I didn't get the help along the way to keep going. We won't be having this podcast interview right now.
No, we wouldn't. That would not be a story that we were going to tell.
Yeah.
Nice. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here with me today. It means so much. I'm just so proud of you. And thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for having me, Jennifer.
Yes. All right, you guys, go check out Shanieri in the show notes, find out what she's doing, connect with her. And that is it for today's show. Thank you guys so much. And y'all get out there and have a happy, productive day. Okay, bye.